My name is Ryan. I'm 34. Husband. Architect. Regular guy, I guess. At least I used to think so. Before I made a mistake. Before I became that man. It didn't happen overnight. It never does. Looking back, it all started last Thanksgiving. That's when the first crack appeared. Lisa, my wife, invited her younger sister, Emily, to stay with us for the holidays. She was recently dumped, heartbroken, vulnerable. We all sat down for dinner, turkey, wine, the works. Lisa was radiant, laughing at every story. Emily smiled, but something in her eyes was hollow. After dinner, Lisa excused herself early. She was exhausted. So Emily and I stayed in the kitchen, cleaning up and sipping wine. Nothing unusual. We talked about life, about broken relationships, about how fast people change. Then she looked at me, not in a flirty way, not yet, but with this raw sadness. And I made the first mistake. I comforted her like a man, not a brother-in-law. I said, "You're amazing. Any guy would be lucky to have you." She smiled. "Even you?" she asked, almost joking. We both laughed. Nervously, I thought the moment passed. I stood to pour another glass. And then her hand touched mine. Just briefly. A static bolt ran up my spine. I should stepped away. I should said goodnight. But I didn't. Instead I kissed her. It lasted 2 seconds. Maybe less. But it was enough. She gasped, pulled back. Tears filled her eyes. I have to go. And she left. That night, I didn't sleep. Lisa woke up the next morning, asking, "Where's Emily?" She said she needed to clear her head. I lied. Lisa nodded. "I hope she's okay." She kissed me on the cheek. And it never felt more like trash. I told myself it was a mistake. One kiss. One stupid moment. Buried and done. But mistakes like that, they don't stay buried. They grow. It had been 2 weeks since that night. Since I kissed Emily. Since she ran out of our house in tears. I thought I could pretend it never happened. Go back to being Lisa's loving, loyal husband. Erase that moment from my brain. But the brain doesn't erase. It replays over and over. Every night after Lisa fell asleep, my mind wandered. I hated myself for it, but I couldn't stop remembering the way Emily looked at me before she left. Like she was waiting for me to say something I didn't. The silence was eating me. And then she came back. It was a Tuesday evening. I came home from work later than usual, tired, stressed, just wanting a quiet night. I walked through the front door, loosened my tie and froze. There she was. Emily. Sitting on the couch in our living room. Casual, calm, like she'd never left. My heart started pounding. What the hell was she doing here? Before I could speak, Lisa came rushing from the kitchen with a smile. "Surprise! Emily's staying with us for a bit. She's moving out of her apartment. Needs time to figure things out." My throat was dry. I nodded. Forced a smile. "That's great." Emily looked at me. No emotion on her face. Just quiet. Like nothing happened. That night, I lay in bed beside Lisa, staring at the ceiling. Her breathing was calm, peaceful. Mine wasn't. In the guest room, just down the hall, was the woman I had kissed. The woman I couldn't stop thinking about. And I had no idea what she was thinking. The next few days were torture. Emily avoided me like the plague. She left early, came home late, barely made eye contact. Polite, cold, distant. Lisa, on the other hand, was happier than ever. She kept saying how glad she was to have her sister around. "Like the old days," she said. "We need more family time." Every word was a dagger. I was trapped in a house with 2 women, one I loved, and one I had betrayed her with. But the tension couldn't last forever. On the 4th night, Lisa had a late shift at the hospital. She's a nurse, always covering for someone. It was just Emily and me at home. We stayed in separate rooms. Or at least, we were supposed to. I was in the study, pretending to answer emails, heart racing. And then I heard her footsteps. I didn't turn around, didn't dare. She stood in the doorway. "I need to talk to you," she said. I closed my laptop, still didn't look at her. "I know," I whispered. She walked in, closed the door behind her. The silence was unbearable. "I shouldn't have come back," she said quietly. "I'm glad you did," I replied before I could stop myself. And then she laughed, bitterly. "You kissed me, Ryan, then disappeared. You didn't call. You didn't explain. I didn't know what to say. You're married to my sister." "I know. Do you?" she asked, because it sure didn't feel like it that night. I turned to face her. Her eyes were watery. "It was a mistake," I said, "but I can't stop thinking about it." Neither could she. That's when I knew this wasn't over. We didn't kiss that night. We just sat in silence. But the air between us was thicker than anything it ever felt. She said she didn't want to ruin Lisa's life, that she hated herself for what happened, that she didn't want to be the other woman. I promised nothing would happen again, but I was lying. To her, to Lisa, and most of all, to myself. Because once a line is crossed, you don't go back. You just cross it again, with less guilt, more hunger. The second time was 2 nights later. Lisa was asleep upstairs. Emily knocked on the study door. This time, we didn't talk. It just happened. And that was the moment I truly became a cheater. Days blurred into each other. We became experts at hiding. Quick glances across the table. Stolen touches in the hallway. Late night whispers behind closed doors. Lisa suspected nothing. She kept talking about baby names, future trips, how nice it would be to start trying soon. And I died a little inside every time. But the most dangerous thing, I started craving it. Not just Emily's body, but the danger, the secrecy, the thrill. It felt like an addiction. I stopped feeling guilty. I told myself Emily needed comfort, that I was helping her heal. What a joke. I wasn't healing anyone. I was destroying everything. Then one night, Emily said something I didn't expect. "I think we need to stop," she whispered as she got dressed. I sat up. "What? This isn't healthy," she said, "for either of us. Lisa doesn't deserve this." I nodded. She was right. We agreed to end it. No more touches. No more whispers. Nothing. And for a whole week, we actually kept that promise. Until the night she called me into the bathroom, her hands shaking. "Can you check this for me?" she said. I stared at the stick in her hand. 2 pink lines. Positive. She was pregnant. And everything shattered. I stood there frozen, in my own bathroom, looking down at the pregnancy test Emily had just handed me. 2 pink lines. Positive. She was shaking, her eyes red, like she'd already cried once and had no more tears left. I wanted to say something, anything, but nothing came out. My throat was dry, my chest was tight, and all I could think was, this can't be real. But it was. I whispered, "Are you sure?" She nodded. "This is the 3rd one I've taken." We stood in silence for what felt like hours. Then she said the words I didn't expect. "I don't want to trap you. I just needed you to know." Trap me? That's what I'd been afraid of, and hated myself for thinking it. She wasn't trying to trap me. She was scared, just like I was. I finally found the strength to speak. "Well, figure it out." She looked up at me. "We," she repeated, with this half-laugh. "Ryan, I'm having your child. And you're married. To my sister." I didn't know what else to say. The world around me started spinning. That night, I didn't sleep. I lay next to Lisa while she breathed softly in her sleep, her hand resting gently on my chest. And all I could hear in my head was Emily's voice. "I'm having your child." I was in free fall, and I had no parachute. The next morning, Emily was gone. She left a note. "I need space. Please don't call." Lisa didn't notice anything. She thought Emily had gone to stay with a friend for a few days to clear her head, as she often did. But I knew better. I texted Emily anyway. No reply. For days, silence. I thought maybe she'd changed her mind. Maybe it wasn't real. Then, on the 5th day, I came home to find Lisa waiting at the door. Smiling. Glowing. "I have a surprise," she said. I forced a grin. "What is it?" She took my hands. "I went to the doctor today. I'm pregnant." The world cracked open. My knees almost gave out. I had to sit down. She looked so happy, so full of hope. I couldn't destroy her. Not in that moment. So I smiled. I cried. I said all the right things. And I lied. Again. I excused myself and locked myself in the bathroom. I stared at myself in the mirror. What kind of man gets two sisters pregnant? What kind of man ruins his own home with his own hands? I was disgusted with myself. But it didn't end there. Because the very next day, Emily showed up. She came to the house while Lisa was out getting groceries. I opened the door and she walked in like she owned the air I was breathing. She didn't look scared anymore. She looked angry. I heard from Lisa. My stomach dropped. She told me the news. Her voice cracked. "She's pregnant too." I stayed silent. Then she stepped closer. "You need to make a choice." I swallowed hard. I need time." She laughed, cold, bitter. "I gave you time, Ryan. Weeks of time." She turned to leave. Before she walked out, she said one last thing. "You tell her the truth, or I will." My heart was racing the entire day. I kept checking my phone, waiting for the explosion. Every time Lisa smiled at me, it felt like a knife to the chest. I was walking on a minefield and every step could be the one that blows everything up. And yet I still didn't tell her. Cowardice. Maybe. Or maybe it was just fear. Over the next week, things got worse. Emily stopped returning my calls. Then she started sending texts. Cold ones. One morning, I woke up to this message. "Greater than your wife deserves better. Don't worry, she'll find out soon." I panicked. Drove to Emily's place. Begged her not to do anything. She sat calmly on the couch, rubbing her stomach. "I'm not doing anything," she said. "You are. You did this." She was right. And still, I didn't confess. Then Lisa found the vitamins. It was a random morning. She opened the cabinet to grab her prenatal vitamins and paused. She held up a bottle. "What's this?" "I didn't buy this brand." My heart dropped. I recognized the bottle. It was the one Emily kept in her purse. I must have left it in there by mistake. Lisa looked confused. "Did you get me new ones?" I faked a smile. "Yeah, I thought these might be better." She didn't question it. But I knew that was a close call. Too close. That night, I drove around the city alone. Windows down. Music off. Just me and my thoughts. I knew the end was coming. I couldn't stop it anymore. Emily was done playing quiet. And Lisa deserved the truth. But how do you confess something like this? How do you look the woman you love in the eyes and tell her you betrayed her with her sister? That both of them are pregnant, and you're the father. There's no script for that. There's only the crash. And I could already. I didn't know what fear really was until I had to live two lives in one house. Until I had to smile at the woman I loved, while hiding a secret that could tear her world apart. Until I knew she was pregnant, and so was her sister. With my child. No matter how many lies I told, how many smiles I faked, the truth was crawling closer, one heartbeat at a time. And then, it happened. It was a Sunday morning. Lisa had just finished folding laundry. She called out from the bedroom, "Hey babe, can you bring my moisturizer?" I grabbed it from the bathroom. And that's when I saw it. Another bottle of prenatal vitamins. The same brand Emily used. Back in the cabinet, the one I'd sworn I threw away. I froze. How the hell did it get back there? Then I heard it. Lisa's voice, calm, quiet. Ryan, whose are these? She was standing behind me. I turned slowly. She was holding the bottle in her hand, staring at me, waiting. My brain raced for a lie, a quick cover-up, something, but I didn't say a word. And silence, that's louder than a scream. Lisa looked confused, then concerned. Ryan, are you seeing someone? No, I said quickly. Too quickly. She stepped closer. Is there something you need to tell me? Still, I said nothing. That's when the front door opened. We both turned, and Emily walked in. She looked right at Lisa, then at me. Lisa's eyes narrowed. What's she doing here? I tried to speak. I really did. But Emily stepped forward. I think it's time she knew, she said. Lisa blinked. Knew what? Emily's voice didn't shake. Ryan and we've been seeing each other. Lisa blinked again. What do you mean? Emily looked straight into her sister's eyes. Impregnant. And it's Ryan's. Time stopped. I saw Lisa's expression change in slow motion. Shock, confusion, hurt, and then rage. She turned to me, eyes burning. Tell me that's not true, she whispered. I tried. God help me, I tried. But all I could do was nod. Her face crumbled. She took a step back, like it hit her. You slept with my sister. I opened my mouth. Tears filled her eyes. While I was sleeping in the next room, I reached for her hand. She pulled away like I was poison. And maybe I was. Then she looked at Emily. You knew what he meant to me, she said. You knew. Emily said nothing. You're my sister. I didn't plan it, Emily whispered. It just happened. Lisa laughed. A bitter, broken sound. You didn't plan it, she screamed. You've been sneaking around with my husband. You call that an accident? Emily lowered her head. I loved him, she said quietly. Lisa turned to me again. Do you love her? I couldn't answer, because I didn't know. And silence again answered for me. Lisa didn't cry. She didn't yell anymore. She walked upstairs. I heard the bedroom door close. Then the lock click. Emily looked at me. She deserved to know, she said. I didn't reply. I sat on the stairs, head in my hands. My whole life, everything I built, came down in a matter of 5 minutes. Lisa didn't come out for hours. When she did, she was calm. Too calm. She handed me a bag. Go. Lisa, just go. I grabbed the bag, walked outside. As I stood at the door, I turned back. I never meant to hurt you. She didn't even look at me. You already did. Then she closed the door. And that was it. I stayed in a cheap motel that night. Alone. Broken. Disgusted with myself. Emily texted. I didn't reply. The next morning, I found an envelope at my office desk. No return address. Inside, divorce papers. And a note in Lisa's handwriting. Greater than you chose her. Live with it. Emily kept calling, texting, leaving voicemails, saying she still wanted to make it work. That we could be a family. But all I could think about was Lisa. Her eyes. Her silence. How I turned a beautiful marriage into dust. All because I couldn't control myself. All because I mistook lust for love. Emily didn't deserve to be humiliated either. But she wasn't innocent. We both crossed the line. And now we were both standing in the wreckage. A few weeks later, I ran into Lisa by accident. She was with her mum, buying baby clothes. She didn't say anything, just walked past me. Her mother looked at me like I was a stranger. And maybe I was. Now I live alone, in a one-bedroom apartment. No photos, no laughter, just silence. I don't know if I'll ever be a good father to either of the children if brought into this mess. I don't know if Emily still wants me around, or if she just wanted to be the one who won. But there's no winners here, only broken people, and broken trust. I couldn't sleep at night. The walls of my apartment felt like they were closing in. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Lisa's look of betrayal and Emily's tears. What was I doing? What had I done? The next morning, I left my phone on silent and drove out of town. I needed space, somewhere with no expectations. I ended up in a small lakeside town where no one knew me. I sat at the dock, feet hanging over the water, trying to remember who I was before all this. But no matter how far I ran, the memories followed. Lisa's voice, Emily's touch, my promises. That night, I stared at the lake, thinking, what if none of this had happened? What if it stayed loyal? Or what if it just left before breaking so many hearts? Then a message. My phone buzzed. Against my better judgment, I looked. We need to talk. Lisa, I didn't answer. I didn't have the words. I stayed in that town for 2 more days, hoping clarity would come. But it didn't. When I finally came back to the city, I knew I had to face the consequences. Lisa was waiting. She looked different. Tired, warm. I trusted you, she said calmly. I told you everything. I let you into my home, my life. I know, I said, and I'm sorry for everything. She didn't scream, didn't cry. She just said, Emily is moving back to her mom's place. She doesn't want to see you. It felt like the air was knocked out of me, but I understood. Over the next weeks, I tried to focus on work, on rebuilding myself. But at night, I still checked my phone, hoping for a message that never came. One evening, months later, I ran into Emily at a bookstore. She looked older, stronger, but distant. Hi, I said. She nodded, hi. There was a long silence. I never meant to hurt you, I told her. I know, she replied. But it doesn't change what happened. She walked away, and I knew that was the end. Lisa moved to another city not long after. I heard she's doing well. Emily went back to university. And me. I'm still trying to understand why I ruined the 2 most important relationships in my life. Sometimes, the biggest punishment isn't what others do to us. It's living with what we've done. To the viewers, have you ever made a mistake so big that there was no going back? What would you have done in my place? Let me know in the comments. I'm ready to hear it all. I wasn't sure what kind of woman I had become anymore. Somewhere between Emily's betrayal and Lisa's silence, between my own fury and moments of terrifying calm, I had lost sight of the man I used to be. The public backlash didn't wait. By the time Emily had fled the city, the entire neighborhood knew everything. Not because I had told them, but because people always find out. I stayed silent, trying to rebuild what little remained of my inner world. But Lisa, she was different now, cold, distant, and something in her eyes said she'd never fully come back from what happened either. A few weeks later, Lisa knocked on my door again. I expected more questions or more guilt. But she stood there, a small suitcase in hand, her eyes red but determined. I need time, she said quietly. Away from this. Away from you. From her. From all of it. I didn't try to stop her. The house fell silent again. The silence wasn't peaceful. It was heavy, like a weight pressing against every wall. Some nights I sat on the porch and wondered if I'd gone too far, not just with my revenge, but with losing control of the man I thought I was. I wasn't proud of what I did. The hidden cameras, the recording, the exposure. But was I wrong? Emily filed for divorce not long after. Her lawyer tried to negotiate for more, threatened court, reputational damage. But the video changed everything. Her case dissolved the moment my lawyer played the footage. She got nothing. And yet, I didn't feel like I won. I sold the house within 2 months. Too many memories, too much poison in the walls. I moved to a smaller place on the outskirts. No neighbors, no noise. Just trees, wind, and silence. That was all I could stomach. Then, one evening, nearly 6 months after it all, Lisa called. I'm in town, she said. Can we talk? My heart jumped. I tried not to sound eager, but I failed. She came by the next day. She looked different, stronger, older, somehow. She sat at my table and took a deep breath. I hated you for a while, she began. I hated her even more. But mostly, I hated myself for not seeing it, for being blind. I stayed quiet. Lisa continued, but I realized something. You're still my dad. That doesn't mean I excuse what you did, but I understand why. Her words cracked something inside me. I never cried during the whole ordeal. Not when I found out. Not when I exposed Emily. Not when Lisa left. But now, the dam broke. We talked for hours. About everything. About Mum. About trust. About love. About what's left when people destroy each other. It wasn't a healing conversation, but it was an honest one. Lisa didn't stay long. But before she left, she hugged me. Don't disappear, she said. I want to know you again. The real you. Not the man who was cheated on. Not the one who planned revenge. Just you. That night, I finally slept. No dreams. Just rest. To the viewers, what do you think? Did I go too far with my revenge, or was it justified? Have you ever faced a betrayal so deep it changed who you are? Let me know in the comments.